Hi, we had a report of a big fat snake that travelled across this track here, and some guys were cutting the grass and they came across the snake. We believe it could be one of the adder species, but let's have a look. Well, for now I'll leave my box here. Let's have a look up here. There it is. We have found it. Now this is the snake that is known as a Gaboon Viper or Gaboon adder in English. This is a fairly big one, probably when it's stretched out about 1.2 or 1.3 meters. But in this part of the world it will grow to anywhere between 1.5 and 1.8 meters when it's fully grown. It is also known to be the world's heaviest snake of the viper family. As you can see, it's a nice fat snake. This is Bitis gabonica, genus and species, and it also has the distinction of having the longest venom fangs of any other snake. Now, as you can see here, it doesn't seem too perturbed with me so close to it. There's a couple of ants walking on it and things like that. They're normally a very docile snake, completely opposite personality to the one we know as a puff adder. Incidentally, in this part of the world, this snake is known in Bemba as chipili. Now, this snake has another distinction. Apart from having the most beautiful patterned skin with various shades of pink and purples and shades of brown, it also has the distinction of having the longest venom fangs of any snake in the world. And I'll attempt to show you the venom fangs. This one not being fully grown, the venom fangs will therefore also not be as long as a fully grown adult's. But a fully grown adult venom fangs will probably have somewhere in the region of 5 centimeters. That's a pretty deep bite. Let me attempt to show you this. Now, I'm not going to force this snake too much because I don't want to hurt it, but hopefully it will cooperate with us right now. There we are. I've got one fang. You'll be able to see the one fang. I don't want to push it too much, but there below the stick that is pushing the fang up, you can see another fang. Now, snakes periodically shed both their skin and their venom fangs. There's a small drop of venom on the end of this fang as well. Now, as you can imagine, that's a pretty deep bite. This is also a very painful bite. If you do provoke the snake to the point where it does lose its temper, its strike is as fast as a puff adder, and it has a nasty cytotoxic venom, which is a cell or a flesh destroying venom, but it also has, in combination with that, a neurotoxin which affects the central nervous system. It's a very, very painful bite. Fortunately, not many people get bitten by these snakes. Some of the locals have informed me that sometimes they'll walk in the forest, because that is the normal habitat of this snake. They'll walk in the forest and accidentally tread on the snake, because in the leaf litter on a forest floor, this snake is highly camouflaged and you're unlikely to see it. And they've actually trodden on these snakes and the snake does absolutely nothing. Whereas if it was a puff adder and you tread on it, it will not hesitate to bite. So, everybody has deserted the area, so what I'm going to do is put this snake into my box. Sorry, may I have my box, please? Thank you. I'll put my snake into the box and we will relocate it to an area that is not only safer for human beings, but safer for the snake. Incidentally, before I do that, one last thing. This snake is highly protected right across Africa, but their numbers have vastly diminished because of the destruction of habitat and the snakes themselves being killed off through superstition and ignorance and such like. So it's known in this country as a government trophy, and the fines for having a snake like this in your possession, or having any part of this snake in your possession for whatever purpose, are quite hefty. As you can see, this snake has been lying here all the time that I've been speaking, not been doing anything at all. I normally call this the laziest snake in the world. But anyway, let's get it into the box. It doesn't seem too perturbed right now, so I won't use my stick. I'll just carry it. Put it into the box. And close it up, and it's ready for transport.